It's 7:46 a.m. on November 18, 2025. In the Eastern Caribbean Sea, the radar deck on the USS Gerald R. Ford falls silent for half a second right before three new surface contacts appear at the exact same moment. No slow approach, no fade-in. They simply blink into existence in a perfect line. On the bridge, chairs slide back. A few sailors lean closer to their screens. The Ford is on a routine transit toward a multinational exercise zone near Barbados. Nothing about the morning suggested trouble. But these three contacts move with an intention no merchant ship would ever show. Their speed matches the carrier's within a tenth of a knot. Their bearing holds steady. Their spacing is exact. Shadowing behavior subtle, quiet, and designed to get noticed. The watch officer lifts a headset, voice level but tight. Bridge, CIC. Contact group, maintaining parallel track. No one knows what happens next, but every person on the bridge understands one thing. This may be the moment the quiet morning changes. Shadowing like this matters because the Eastern Caribbean in November 2025 is not just another transit zone. Tension has been building for weeks. After several smuggling crackdowns by US units in the Pacific, officials in Caracas accused foreign forces of interfering with their maritime economy. Even though the events happened far from Venezuela, the political reaction spread fast. Orders were sent to push more patrol ships outward, activate old coastal radar sites, and fly maritime patrol routes that had not been used in months. None of those steps were aimed directly at the Ford, but they created an environment where every move feels louder than it really is. A Navy that feels watched can react harder to simple activity. And when a carrier strike group enters that space, even a normal course line can look like a message. For sailors on the Ford, the stakes are simple. A ship this large cannot turn or slow down quickly. Every decision must be clear, measured, and safe. A small mistake from a foreign patrol ship can place both crews at risk. That is why the three contacts moving in perfect sync create real concern. It is not the distance, it is the precision. Precision always suggests intention. Farther inside the ship, analysts study the pattern on their screens. They know that shadowing does not always mean aggression. Sometimes it is pressure, sometimes it is a test, and sometimes it is a misunderstanding that grows too fast. That is why moments like this matter. One wrong move can shift a quiet morning into a real incident. If you were watching these ships match the Ford with this kind of accuracy, would you think it was a simple patrol or something deliberate? Press 1 if you see it as routine, or 9 if you believe it was a clear signal. Inside the Combat Information Center of the USS Gerald R. Ford, the first response is direct and calm. Radar operators zoom in as the three contacts hold their line. The watch supervisor reports, contacts maintaining speed match. That single call tells the room everything. When a ship matches a carrier this closely, it is not an accident. It is intention. On the bridge, the captain studies the bearing lines. They do not move. At sea, a steady bearing usually means one of two things: a collision course or shadowing. These ships are not closing in, so they are shadowing. Even so, no one treats this as routine. Shadowing can shift fast, and the Ford is too large to react suddenly. Farther east, the E-2D Hawkeye confirms visual ID. Two Guaycari-class patrol ships and one Guaycamacuto-class vessel hold a clean parallel track. They show no heavy weapons on deck, but their movements are exact. Every minor adjustment by the Ford is mirrored almost instantly. That kind of tracking requires focus from their bridge crew. The tactical action officer records each detail in real time. Speed, bearing, spacing, everything logged for later review. Inside the CIC, voices stay quiet but steady. No alarms, no raised tones, just growing tension as the pattern becomes clear. At 7:58 a.m., something new appears. A small UAV shows up on the Hawkeye's sensors, flying low about 5 miles south of the carrier. It is unarmed but too close to ignore. The TAO orders, track only, no intercept. They want to avoid escalation, but the situation is changing. 3 ships below and now a drone above. Layers like this make simple moments unpredictable. The bridge watches the drone drift along the outer edge of the Ford's defensive ring. It is not approaching, but the timing makes it important. Someone on the other side is watching how the carrier reacts. The Ford stays on course. A ship this size does not turn unless it must. Stability is the safest choice. Inside the CIC, an analyst notices that the middle Venezuelan ship adjusts its heading by small degrees to keep perfect spacing. This is not a casual patrol. Someone is guiding this shadowing with care. A junior officer steps toward the captain. "Sir, pattern remains deliberate." The captain answers, "Maintain observation. Hold course." Nothing hostile is happening yet. No fast turns, no warnings. But the situation is building slowly, layer by layer, and everyone in the room can feel it. A long morning is starting. If you were watching these ships match the Ford this closely, would you think it was routine, or would you see a signal? Press 1 for routine, or 9 if you believe it was already a message. The moment the drone crosses the edge of the defensive ring, tension inside the Ford climbs. Not because the UAV is a threat, but because it adds weight to a situation already tilting the wrong way. The 3 Venezuelan ships keep a tight formation, matching every minor course change from the Ford with near-perfect precision. It is slow, deliberate, and unmistakably intentional. Then, at 8:19 a.m., the pattern breaks. The middle patrol ship makes a sharper turn than anything earlier, 20 degrees starboard, cutting across its previous path. Speed unchanged, weapons silent, but the move is too abrupt to be routine. At sea, a mistake can be more dangerous than a threat. Inside the CIC, the ship lights up the display. "New course on contact 2, an operator reports. The track bends inward toward the Ford's projected line. The other 2 Venezuelan ships stay steady, and that inconsistency matters. In close navigation, order keeps everyone safe. When one vessel breaks the rhythm, risk spikes. Ford's officers consider possibilities. One rises quickly. Earlier in the week, Venezuela reactivated old coastal radars known for inaccurate fixes at range. If the patrol ship received a bad coordinate update, it may be correcting along a false track an innocent error that looks aggressive. Range? The captain asks. 2.7 miles in closing. At this distance, even small heading changes matter. A carrier cannot maneuver quickly, so smaller ships must keep clear. But the Venezuelan vessel continues drifting toward the Ford's bow. USS McFall adjusts position, not accelerating, not showing weapons, just sliding outward in a controlled soft intercept, placing itself between the carrier and the approaching ship without escalating the situation. On the Ford's bridge, silence grows. No one wants a close pass at this range. Large hulls push powerful wakes, and a wrong angle can send dangerous forces outward. The CIC calls out again. Contact 2 drifting inside safe buffer. The Venezuelan ship holds its faulty course. Behind it, the smaller patrol craft slows abruptly to avoid closing the gap. Their formation fractures and fractured patterns at sea breed near misses. For the Ford's crew, calm monitoring shifts into active management. Nothing hostile is happening, but everything is sliding toward a line no one once crossed. The turning point comes when the Venezuelan patrol ship keeps drifting inward, long after it should have corrected. At first, the movement looks minor, just a shallow slide toward the Ford's path. But as the distance shrinks, the scale of the problem becomes obvious. From the smaller vessel's bridge, the Ford grows larger every second. What looked manageable on radar now feels overwhelming in real water. A ship this massive does not forgive hesitation. Inside the CIC, tension rises as the bearing tightens. Contact 2 at 1.8 miles, someone reports. The other Venezuelan ships stay perfectly aligned, confirming the turn isn't coordinated. More likely, the drifting ship is reacting to old coastal radar data now, back online data that can lag just enough to cause trouble. The Ford's captain knows he can't rely on the smaller vessel to correct in time. He orders a safety turn. It is not aggressive, but the consequences are real. When a 100,000-ton carrier shifts, even slightly, the displaced water forms a heavy wake strong enough to shove a patrol ship off balance. As the Ford turns, the sea stacks into a rolling wave. "Wake forming!" someone calls out. Seconds later, it slams into the Venezuelan hull. The ship jolts hard, equipment skids, crew grab rails. No damage, just a blunt lesson in physics. The cutter behind it reacts fast, slowing to avoid the same hit. Their clean formation collapses. One angles away, then the next, and finally the vessel that drifted pulls back. The tight shadowing that had held for nearly an hour dissolves in minutes. No weapons, no threats, just a navigational correction delivered too late and a warning shaped by the sea, not by intent. If you watch this moment from the Ford's bridge, would you call it a simple mistake or a silent test? Press 1 for accident, 9 if you think it carried a message. The final minutes move faster than anyone expects. As the Venezuelan ships break formation, the Ford continues its controlled safety turn. The carrier does not show aggression, but even this slow movement sends another wave of displaced water across the surface. On a ship this size, the ocean reacts with force smaller vessels often underestimate. Inside the CIC, the tension peaks. Contact 2 holding unstable course, an operator reports. The lead Venezuelan ship tries to correct by swinging its bow to port, but the timing is off. The earlier wake pushed it slightly out of line, and now the crew is fighting to regain control while keeping clear of the destroyer McFall, which holds its blocking position. On the bridge, the captain watches the developing picture. The distances tighten briefly as the smaller cutter behind the lead ship speeds up to avoid the wake, then slows sharply, creating uneven spacing. Even without hostile intent, these movements can create real danger around a carrier. Radio chatter reflects the pressure. CIC to bridge, second contact drifting. Copy. Maintain heading. No raised voices, just steady updates in a heavy moment. At 8:26 a.m., the shift happens. The lead Venezuelan ship finally turns away from the Ford's bow. The correction is late, but it is the move everyone has been waiting for. As it angles outward, the vessels behind it adjust one after another, forming a chain reaction that pulls the entire group away from the carrier's path. Inside the CIC, the tone changes. Contacts turning away, range increasing. It is the first sign that the situation is stabilizing, though no one relaxes until the distance grows safely. The Ford eases back to its original course. Deck crews return to routine positions. The Hawkeye keeps its orbit until the last tracks fade. The drone that lingered earlier slips out of range, leaving the skies clear again. Only then does the bridge allow the tension to ease. The climax passes without weapons, warnings, or direct confrontation, just careful control and the power of a carrier moving through tight water. If you were watching from the Ford as the ships pulled away, would you feel relief or think the test wasn't over? Press 1 for relief. Or 9 if you believe this was only the beginning. When the Venezuelan ships finally pulled away, the Ford's crew returned to routine steps, but everyone knew how close the situation had come. No alarms had gone off, no weapons were shown. Yet a simple turn from a foreign patrol ship had pushed a carrier strike group into a narrow margin of safety. These moments stay with sailors because most real incidents at sea begin quietly, not with dramatic signals. In the analysis rooms, every radar track and voice call from the encounter was saved. These records would be reviewed to understand how a wrong correction brought a patrol ship too close to the Navy's largest platform. The Venezuelan side likely reviewed their own data. Both nations had just experienced a gray zone event that escalated through timing and distance, not intent. A short video soon appeared on Venezuelan state media, showing the Ford at a distance and claiming the carrier approached their patrol zone. The clip left out the sudden turn and the wake that forced them to break away. In gray zone encounters, the narrative often shifts depending on who is telling the story. Washington's response was simple. The USS Gerald R. Ford conducted routine, lawful operations in international waters. No accusations, no added pressure. The goal was to end the moment, not extend it. But the larger lesson is clear. Modern naval friction rarely begins with weapons. It starts with patrol ships matching speed, drones drifting close to defensive rings, or old radar systems passing bad data. Small details add up, and those details shape the decisions of crews and commanders on both sides. For sailors on the Ford, the takeaway is obvious. The greatest risks at sea come from distance closing too fast and corrections coming too late. For observers, the incident is a preview of how quickly the Caribbean can shift from calm water to strategic tension.